y'all, this is Marissa with Marissa Moments, and you know what day it is. It is Oracle Tuesday, so we're going to go on ahead and be reading from the Personally Made Marissa Moments Oracle deck, and this message is about guidance, wisdom, clarity. Yes, I do pray, and that's what I pray to have this message conveyed to you. So remember, take what resonates and leave everything else to the side. Now we're going to go on ahead and speed up the shuffle because I know you don't have time for that. So let's go. Okay, y'all, so a bunch came out again this time, so we're going to go over it. And but really quickly, what I noticed is as I was shuffling, like a couple of them would like fall, one fell in my lap and one fell on the floor, right? And what I received to share with you is that don't worry, you're going to fall, right? Now, maybe literally, but more emotionally, mentally, all those types of things. And all you got to do is get back up. Right? That's a huge message that I want to give you before we start getting into the cards. Now, what Spirit is telling you to do is focus on your strengths. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. We don't need to go too much more in depth on that one. Now, this one's in reverse. Pay attention to the time your angels are speaking. Now, anytime I receive this card in reverse, what I'm receiving is that you're like overanalyzing your the spiritual jargon, right? The conversation with the universe, God, Gaia, ancestors, angels, and saints. You're so busy wrapped up in looking for the 222, the 1111, and the 444 that you forget to exist within the moment, right? So you're putting all your credence and all of your energy into the energy and forgetting to exist in the here and now. So what I receive is maybe Spirit. Okay. Yeah. What I'm hearing is pull back from that for now and just exist. Allow yourself to be in the here and now. And then those messages that you typically receive through those numbers that you kind of forced yourself to see because maybe you got a timer set on your phone. Maybe you sign up for some sort of post or something like that just to kind of force that coincidence, right? But what Spirit is saying is let that go. Because those aren't going to end up being your true messages. Your true messages come through actually living, being in the moment. Spirit also wants you to know that your excuses are not getting you closer to your goals, right? Now, what I received behind this, and I take it personally, Spirit, but I'm going to share it with you, is like almost like housework, right? The things, the mundane things that we don't typically want to do. However, they are necessary, right? What I'm receiving is stop making excuses and creating ways to procrastinate on the things you know you have to do. Now, let's not confuse this with created responsibilities that we give ourselves so we can seem so busy and just like we have so much going on, right? No, Spirit is saying, stop making those excuses. If you have a goal, start working towards getting closer to that goal. One step at a time. What I see and what I hear is almost like something being chipped away, like ice sculpture, right? So I don't do ice sculptures, but what I imagine is they start with the big old hunk of ice. They probably crack off some big chunks just to get it down to the right sizing. And then they start going in for the fine details with the chisel or whatever it is that they're using, right? And that's what I'm receiving. However, if you don't start taking a whack at that proverbial ice, that actual literal goal that you have, that manifestation, whatever it is, that wish, that desire, if you don't start working towards it, then you're never going to get there, right? And you keep creating these excuses and they're not getting you closer and closer. Now, this one is kind of contradictory. Go outside and do nothing. What I received behind this, though, is that you have a tendency to get caught up, like I said, in making up things for yourself to do, right? Just to feel busy and just to tell people like, whoo, I had a day, right? Just to be a part of that conversation. However, what I receive is that Spirit is saying, if it comes down to it, if you're having to create these false obligations just to make yourself feel like this warrior and this, that's funny. It was like, as I said, warrior, not to be confused with worrier, right? And it's almost like there's that contradiction and that confusion within those two, because you want to be seen as a warrior, but you just turn out to be a worrier. So what Spirit is saying is just cut out that excess, right? Cut out that excess at least until you get to the point where you want to be. So if it comes down to having to do those tasks that you make up for yourself that really don't get you anywhere, then just go outside and do nothing. Nothing is better than that in this situation and case. Now, stop playing the role that is assigned by others. Now, I feel like this is constantly coming up because, between that imposter syndrome, right, where you feel like you're just kind of playing a role and you're not really as great as you are. What Spirit is saying is that in addition to that, it's almost like people have these expectations of you, right? And in terms of whatever it is that you are doing, whatever it is that you're putting out into the world. Now, it doesn't have to be like employment or anything like that, but it's somewhere along those lines. It's something that you do, right? Something that you offer to the world. Again, you don't have to get paid for it. You can do things for the world and not get paid and compensate it. However, what I'm receiving is that you're straying away from who you truly are and starting to pick up on other people's habits, becoming slowly but surely like a clone of them. And it's only because you're a hypersensitive being, right? You're so empathic that sometimes you confuse other people's stuff for being your stuff. So that's why sometimes we do have to go outside and do nothing. So that way we can determine what's theirs versus what is ours and then work from there. So stop playing the role that is assigned by others. And don't allow all of this information or any of these things to make you feel like you can't go on, because what Spirit is saying, keep going. We need you. We need you, right? It doesn't say we need some false created version of you that you have doled up for as a means of protection and self-preservation. It doesn't mean that it's that version of you that where you start to pick up on somebody else's accent just because you hung around them long enough. Now, that sometimes happens to all of us, to the best of us. But what Spirit is saying, when it comes down to it, we need you, not some made up version of you. So drop the mask and just start living your truth. Now, this card says, write down your ideas and then get to work. Spirit is really pushing you. So, and this card, by the way, came out in the reverse. Now, what I received, the reason why it's in reverse is because you've been writing things down. You're like, dear diary, right? Like Doogie Howser, MD, all of the things, right? And if you know, you know. If not, Google it. But what I'm receiving is that you've been writing these things down. You've been coming up with these ideas and concepts and all the things. However, you just haven't been taking action on it. You've been doing other things, other side projects and stuff like that. Again, swearing that you're so busy and too busy to actually focus on the things that you truly want to do deep down in your heart. But what I receive is that the reason why you don't take action necessarily is because you fear failure, right? But you have to understand that that just comes along with the territory. I run a community boutique. Do you think everywhere that I've tried to set up and collaborate with and all those types of things that everyone's been like, sure, come on in? I mean, for the most part, people have been, but I have faced a lot of no's and a lot of pause buttons and a lot of this, that, and the other. If I allow that to stop me, then I won't be able to grow. Then I won't be able to explore those no's to get to the yeses, or go through those no's to get to the yeses. For every no I receive, I get about 5 yeses. So I'm not tripping. God's got me covered. But this is about you, not about me. I'm just using that as an example for you to understand a little bit better. Bottom line to the bottom line on this card is start taking action. Boots on the ground, people. Boots on the ground. You got to get working. You have to start taking any type of step forward, right? And what I receive is that you can take a class, right? And then and the old excuse of, well, I can't afford the class is kind of out the window at this point, folks, because if you have access to the internet, and clearly you do, then you can explore and find free options, even if it's just like a little taste portion, just to get you in the right direction, because that's when you start networking. And that's when you say, hey, do you offer any scholarships? I have a financial need. There are, listen, what I'm hearing straight up, and this has to be ancestors, is there are no excuses to prevent you from taking a step in the direction of your goals. You might not jump and land directly in it, but you will be a lot closer than you are today and right now. Now, what I received, or the next card up is become your own best friend. Now, this one is in reverse as well. Now, the reason I feel like it's in reverse is because you've got that whole solitude thing on lock, right? Even when you're around other people, you're still like internal, like you're still kind of like, nah, I'm not going to let them see my hand type situation. Like, because you've been burned so much that you're just like, people are not good. Okay. But I'm here to tell you, some are, some aren't, but some are. A lot more are than aren't. Okay. So what I'm receiving is that it's okay to kind of start letting those walls down. Now, I used the ice sculpture as an example previously, but what I'm seeing here is just take a brick out the wall. Just listen up, listen to the conversation, allow your discernment to guide you and help you understand if and when you are in that safe atmosphere and room to start sharing your truth, right? And also what I'm hearing is that share up, don't share down. Stop going towards people that are always complaining, people that set goals but never take action. Is that you? Stop being around people who will help fan the proverbial flames of your procrastination. And it's like, you could do it tomorrow. No, if you want to be a go-getter, then you need to surround yourself with go-getters. If you want to explore education, then you need to get yourself in that environment. And then that is when you're going to start feeling safer, because like minds attract like minds, right? Anyway, there are no easy way outs. And this is sideways. I feel like Spirit is being a little bit cheeky here, because Spirit is like, there's some shortcuts. There's some shortcuts. And what I'm hearing is that that's actually, it comes from that networking, right? It comes from speaking up, walking in your truth, not being a clone of someone else, not walking in the door as a physical manifestation or representation of something you saw on television, because nobody's looking for that fugazi stuff, right? Everybody wants that authenticity. And at this point, the entire planet has elevated in sensitivity. So now we're able to discern a lot better who's real versus who is fake, right? And so when you walk in, putting on that mask, like, hello, nice to meet you. You not only turn into a robot and a clone, you take away everything in you that makes you amazing. So there are no easy way outs, but aren't there? But it starts off with you being authentic. And Spirit is like, okay, be authentic. And this is going to sound weird. A lot of the stuff to me is a little bit weird, but they say don't overdo it, right? Don't feel like you have to take over the establishment. I mean, you can use your discernment, right? That's where that healing aspect is so key. And that's why I keep turning it. It's like they're saying that healed aspect of your authentic self is the key to get you in the door to your success, to get you closer to where you want to be. However, what you have to understand is that, one, you're not going to be everyone's portion, right? And that's fine. Not everyone can handle the greatness, the vastness that is you. And that's fine, because maybe they're not a part of your proverbial tribe, for lack of better phrasing. But what I'm also receiving is know your audience when it comes down to the expansion and potential for your success and growth, right? And okay, let me get a little bit more in depth on that, because what I'm seeing is almost like you in a boardroom. And you come in and being your authentic self, which is great, but you also have to understand when it's time to kind of cut the jokes and get down to business. So it's saying don't overdo it, not in terms of not being yourself, but don't overdo it in terms of missing the actual point and reason why you're there. Don't stray so far from your original mission that you completely bypass the point because you're too busy being consumed in your authenticity. Hopefully that makes sense, because that is the message for today. So as always, I always love doing these Oracle Tuesday readings because I get a message too, you guys. And if this resonates for you, then like I said previously, it is for you. And if it's for someone that you know, use that common sense and feel free to share it. And put them on, because we're no longer gatekeeping our sharing. We're no longer gatekeeping our healing, our access. We are networking. We are taking over. We're taking over. I don't know why I remix that every single time and never get it right. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So I will see you next time. And in the meantime, don't forget to follow me everywhere. But when you look me up, just remember Marissa Moments, and Marissa has one S because there's only one me. I almost put up two fingers, but there's only one me. So only one S in Marissa Moments. But that is it. So I will see you next time. In the meantime, apples and tomatoes, all the things, and happy healing. Bye.